Day 4 then at Royal Ascot, and this is What a Shout. All the big calls and all the big races. We'll be giving you all the race previews as we've been doing for the first 3 days, and the naps at the end of the show. Myself, Dave Orton, Paul Kealy back in the studio, back in the game.
Back in the game finally. I mean, funnily enough, yesterday I had a horse in the first that nearly pulled up and a horse in the last that did pull up.
That was 0 from 15.
Yeah, exactly. I hope they're both okay, by the way. But yes, had a good run on Mountain Angel. And the Ballydor Colt did what we hoped it'd do. Battleground looked very good, didn't he?
Yeah, you called it. And I think we were all very keen on that in the panel as well. DJ, good to have you back. You were very keen on Battleground.
Yeah. Gorgeous horse, my God. Like, absolutely gorgeous. Did everything you'd want him to do. And it was just effortless the whole way through the race. Settled nicely, got into a lovely position, and just quicken up when the race was there to be won. Like, I thought he was it's very, very early, but for next year's 2,000 guineas, a double figure price I thought was quite big.
Yeah, National Stakes next, DJ?
I'd say so, yeah. I'd say that's where he'll go. And I know Aidan absolutely loves him. Like, he obviously loves Found, and I think he's a soft spot for Battleground as well.
Lovely. Pat Cooney from our sponsors Bet365 back on the line, quickly becoming a veteran of these shows, Pat.
Yes, it gets tougher though, doesn't it? We're into day 4 now, but I've trained hard for this week, so hopefully I'll see it out well enough.
We are getting to the business end of Royal Ascot. Okay, as ever, reminding you all this week, it's not going to last forever. 3 months for the Members Club at just a tenner. All your Racing Post ratings, your video replays, your analysis, your spotlight tipsters, what DJ and Paul think, it's all out there. Promo code, Racing is back. Right then, the 115, the Palace of Holyroodhouse handicap. That's a new one, isn't it, Honest? A 5 furlong 3-year-old handicap, Kills.
Yeah, I don't think we should keep all these new races. I dare say we won't, but because you have to have time for the royal procession, etc.
I dare say we won't, and they're sort of sticklers for tradition, Ascot, aren't they? But,
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So where are we going? This Art Power.
Where are we going? Well, this Art Power quite interesting because we've had a feature this week is we've had a lot of handicaps where horses have been hugely well in, and they've been very short. Most of them have been getting beat, to be fair. But Art Power is one of those that isn't hugely well in. He's just where the handicapper has assessed him, and that's it. But he's still an extremely short price. And you can sort of understand why, because he's looked very impressive. But, on his return, he won by 5.5 lengths, and the runner-up won, or dead heated next time, but only ran to a race supposed rating of 63. We're not talking about having thrashed a standout horse. We're talking about having thrashed a modest horse. And he's now going into handicap company off what might turn out to be a very good mark. He might be a group horse, we don't know. But, there's others in the race that are interesting as well and at bigger prices.
Yes, indeed. And again, just a quick word about the draw yesterday, Kills. Sort of turned on its head a
right,
little bit.
Well, here we go. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of criticising jockeys, right? But on Tuesday, after race 1, everyone thought you've got to be stand side.
Follow the leader.
On Wednesday, everybody wanted to be stand side. On Thursday, not a single jockey made any attempt whatsoever to get to the stands rail. I mean, it's just baffling. And did they all just say, right, we'll go down the middle today, lads?
Yeah,
right. I mean, it's just so
You wonder
weird.
whether it's got something to do with the drainage idea of the jockeys either rail. I think they think the near rail sometimes gets a bit softer.
But I mean, they didn't even try. Nobody tried fast run. Then in the round course races, in the later ones, they all raced off, 4 or 5 horse widths off the rail all the way round. Yeah, in the earlier race, Mountain Angel hugged the rail all the way through and won easily. It's as baffling to me as it is to anyone, I'm sure.
That was bizarre. So where are we playing?
Right, I'm going with. I've backed 2, the next 2 in the betting, basically behind the hot favourite. I didn't keep busy. I mean, for a horse that ran about 11 times last year, but did nothing but improve, and pretty much same this season. Already run twice. Ran in the Group 3 at Newcastle. Didn't show a massive amount, but then finished second to Lazuli in the Scurry at Sandown on Saturday. And yes, Lazuli won quite easily and is obviously very decent. But she's beaten horses that were rated 104 off levels. She beat by 3 lengths as well. They were in 3rd and 4th. And she's running in here off 96, I think. I think that's a reasonable handicap mark. She won a listed race on heavy ground at Chantilly last year as well. And don't forget, she was also giving a penalty to those horses behind her at Sandown as well. So I think she's got a big chance. And the other one I like was Dancing in the Street of William Haggis's. She's £4 out of handicap, but I thought she'd have gone up at least that had she got a clear run at Haydock. She just got no run from any stage in the race. Was doing all her best work at the finish. That was her first try at 5 furlongs. Looks like a strong run, 5 furlongs. Is right up her alley. And I just thought, the bookmakers are offering 5 and 6 places here, and I just thought with those extra places, I think those two will be hard to kick out of it.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in here before I go to DJ and Pat. You pretty much summed up exactly. That is exactly how I'm looking at it. I've got Dancing in the Street just on top of Keep Busy. I remember the dam Look Busy, wasn't it? She was tough, and she improved all the way. I think those two against the favourite as well. DJ, take it away.
Yeah, just one thing that Kealy said there. Now, I'm baffled at the best of times by stuff that is not usually that intelligent to find out. But the reason surely that they're not going near side rail now is because they've raced on it for 2 days. There's plenty of divots, and the rain has got in, and therefore it's harder work on the near side. I would imagine that would be my thinking anyway. I thought
we don't know, Dave, do we? Because nobody actually bothered. So what
we
do they?
Do know.
So
we know they raced. We know they raced that most of the finishes and most of the horses ran on a strip of ground. So therefore, the logical explanation.
Yeah, but on a strip of fast ground, Dave, it wasn't soft ground that they were cutting up. It was firm ground. It was virtually good to firm the first 2 days.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Never thought of that.
But I think the weather probably does play a lot into the jockey's mind.
I think it might do. But, does anybody actually have a clue what's going to happen today?
But again, it's what we said on the first 2 days. If the jockey thinks they're a bias, there's going to be a bias. DJ, where are you playing?
If only Paul Kealy was a jockey. Look, I think I was actually given Art Power a realistic chance of being competitive in the Commonwealth Cup. So if I was giving him a chance of being competitive in a Commonwealth Cup, he simply has to win this race. The rain has come in time for him. He looks a really straightforward horse that's just going to get out there and do his thing. Like Tim Easterby has only had 2 winners in the last fortnight, but he's had 20 horses that have been placed. So his stable is actually in good form. A lot of his horses are running up the scratch. They're running well. So I think Art Power is the one to beat. One at a huge price that I think will run really well is Classy Moon from the Carl Burke stable. Like when he won his maiden at Carlisle, he traded a huge price in running despite going off favourite. It actually has worked out quite well. The second horse won next time and is rated 80. The third horse has won twice since and is rated 84. So the form is quite solid. Then he was tried in a Group 2 behind Royal Lytham at Newmarket and went over to Deauville to take on A. Ali in another Group 2. So once he won his maiden, he never really had a chance to prove how good he was. He's back in a handicap now. First start of the season. A bit of cutting the ground like there was in his debut at Carlisle at about 22, 25 to 1. I think Classy Moon will run a really big race here for Carl Burke.
Thanks, Dave. Then a plunge horse and a bit of a flyer for DJ. Pat, let's talk about Art Power just quickly. It was run about 7 to 2, maybe even some 4 to 1 in the start of the week. What price are we looking at now?
He's now a rock solid 2 to 1 chance, and he's the type of horse, isn't he? If you're on a quiz show and you were going for the first prize and you had to pick the winner of this race, you'd say Art Power all day long. I just find him very, very hard to oppose. I mean, he looked impressive. His form on soft ground. He's 1 over 5. He's 1 over 6. It just looks straightforward to me. The draw 19 will be fine. I could just see him bouncing out and making all and not running off a 97 ever again. But the caveat, of course, is it's 2 to 1 at Ascot. First race, do you really want to be pulling it up at 2 to 1 in a handicap? I agree with Kilsbury. You look at Keep Busy. We're first 5 in the enhanced place book there. You can back that one at 6 to 1, first 5 places. I would expect that one to be in the first 5. I just don't see a shock result in this race. I could see Art Power beating Keep Busy. So not a great start for the bookmakers, perhaps.
Let's hope not. There's some pointers for the opener. Right then, 2-year-olds come back out. The 150, the Albany Stakes, traditionally in its Friday slot, pretty much. Albany, fillies, 2-year-olds, 6 furlongs, go.
Yeah, guesswork really, isn't it? But I mean, Mother Earth was for Aidan O'Brien was quite eye-catching. Not the eye-catching that Battleground was the other day, but still eye-catching. I think she's probably fairly decent. She buys off and he gets a few on like soft ground, a damn one on soft ground. So I think there's plenty to like at the top of the market there. I've also had a little bit each way on Mick Shannon's Mahal. Finished 4th to Sacred, who's one of the jollies. Did about 3rd in the betting for the Coventry. Finished 4th to him on at Newmarket from draw 1. Which was the wrong place to be, and ran nice finishing kick in that. She was a big price yesterday. She has been backed a little bit, but I thought she might be the each way bet in the race. But I think Mother Earth is the one to beat.
Cheers, Kills. All right, DJ, over to you.
I fancy Mahali. I thought that she was a big price when betting opened up and taking advantage of that. I really like the run, like in a similar type of way to Tactical earlier on in the week, but obviously not as good. I just love the performance because she was passing horses late. And I love on debuts. And Aidan O'Brien is a particular lover of this. He loves to see his horses passing horses in a finish, just to get their confidence up on that first start, give them an education. I thought Mahaly got a lovely education on her debut. The 6th horse home, Mahaly was 4th, staying on, would have got very close to the winner in another half furlong. 6th horse home that day was Happy Romance, so I know Richard Hannon liked doing a stable tour. Happy Romance absolutely bolted up at Sandown over the weekend, so the form is working out quite well. I thought Mahaly was verging on being arguably the best horse in that race. And massive price yesterday. The value has gone a little bit, but you'll still probably get 12, 14, 16. So Mahaly, I think, will go really close here.
Dave Jennings, value hunting. Pat Cooney, are we value hunting or are we looking towards the top of the market? Who's been really solid?
Probably at prices, Dave. Number 3, Dan Dalla of the Carl Burke stable. 1 run, 1 win. She's been popular 14 to 10. But at the top of the market, Mother Earth is there. And I always think it's significant when there's a group race on and Aidan O'Brien just has 1 runner in the race. And that's what he's got with this girl, Mother Earth. He could have run probably 2 or 3 in the race. So he must like her chances, and rightly so. Hard to get any collateral form together. I thought Roger Varian's filly, Satahi, number 10, she won well enough on her debut, but like most of these, they've not gone on giving the ground before. So a little bit in the unknown. But look, if you're backing a Roger Varian horse, you couldn't pick a better stable in form this week.
No, absolutely. And I'm with you on that. I think if you watch back, you look at your members club, look at your replays, look back, she did everything that you couldn't do at Newmarket on her debut. Missed a break, came from behind, went wide as well. She'll do for me. 225, another 2-year-old race. They're coming out bombarding us. It's the Norfolk Stakes. Love this race. Keels, where are we going?
Yeah, it doesn't look the strongest, does it? I mean, there's a hot favourite and a second favourite quite short, and it's further out to the rest now. Aya Heavens obviously had his form boosted massively.
Yeah.
With tactical winning, the Windsor Castle, the runner-up, the Get It was placed behind them as well.
Yeah.
And finished 4th in that race from a bad draw. So you got to fear it. And Mark Johnson said, not only do we have a pecking order, we know exactly where they're going, and this one's going for the Norfolk. So he obviously thinks she's very fast. The only thing is, he was a track record breaker at Newmarket, a very fast ground. He's got something different to deal with now, isn't he? And the amount of times Mark Johnson over the years has moaned that his horses don't handle soft ground, we will have to wait and see.
He's exceeding excel, isn't he? Which you think about sound surface.
Yeah, you'd think sound surface. I mean, you know what Ascot straight track is like. It's probably not going to be that bad today.
Yeah.
They're already calling it good to soft. It depends if we get anything. But, I mean, Lipizzaner obviously finished 3 places in front of Battleground.
I like him, I've got to say, yeah.
Had 2 starts as well. I mean, I think, just
Is that where you're going?
Just toughening up. I think I'm going to go for Lipizzaner, yeah.
Happy days.
Had 2 starts. That wasn't a bad race. It probably, as I think Dave was saying yesterday, it's probably one of the best maidens we've seen this year that he ran in then. I will take a chance.
Yes, same as that. DJ, back us up on this. 2 favourites, both forms been boosted. Are you going for the Ballydor Warrior?
No, I'm an Eye of Heaven fan. I know what you're saying about the ground, obviously for Eye of Heaven, but he's a half brother to Desert Safari, who was third in the 2-year-old trophy at Redcar on bottomless ground. So I'm just hoping that he'll cope with the ground. I just thought it was a perfect case of a horse with huge potential, doing it very professionally on his debut, that they obviously hold in high regard, booking Frankie for him on his debut. He's going for this race. And the key thing is, and I watched it back because, as you know, I'm the founder of the Tactical Fan Club, and I just love that name. And the key thing is here, Eye of Heaven, while I did say the other day that I thought Tactical would have won the race if the gap opened up, when I watched it again, looking for form for this race with Eye of Heaven, Frankie Dettori never hit Eye of Heaven. It was hands and heels the whole way. And I just said to myself, I wonder if he actually did hit him, what he might have found. And I think there was plenty in the locker there. I think he's a very, very good horse. And Lipizzaner, look, I thought he's traded very, very short on both the starts so far. I know he's a 2-year-old. He's only had 2 starts. He's learning all the time. But he's been beaten now in 2 races he should have won. And that just kind of, maybe after Monarch of Egypt the other day, I'm just thinking to myself, I want horses that win races. But Eye of Heaven for me.
Okay, Pat, there's a Wed Ward runner in this, of course, Golden Pal. He was backed at the start of the week. Wes has had 2 2-year-olds, didn't really make the frame. Has there been any love for him in the market?
No, not really. I think maybe the Wesley Ward bandwagon, I think it's just beginning to slow down somewhat. He comes over every year, of course, and I think he caught us all napping when he did come over a few years ago. They're easier to back these days in the market, particularly when it's softer ground. And normally with these American horses, you associate them with fast ground, but the market is all about eye of heaven. But you do look at it. I get the form line. I get the tactical run. You think you're asking punters to back this horse around about 13-8 at the moment. And if you're doing that, you've got to oppose Wesley Ward, Aidan O'Brien, Andrew Balding. And the horse I quite like is the Learjet. Oisin Murphy fell in love with this horse when he won first time out. He's drawn in stall 1, but who knows? As Kealy was saying earlier, is that going to be good, bad, or ugly, the draw? I think with 13-8 eye of heaven, he's one of them, isn't he? Yeah, I can see him winning, but I think you've got to oppose him in the market. And we're a fifth of the odds 4 places in the race, and there's not that many runners, and there's not many with serious chances. So maybe an each-way angle might be the way to go here.
First of 3 sprint races then on day 4 at Royal Ascot. A bubble might be burst. 3 o'clock, now we're on the round course. And I tell you what a Hardwicke this looks, because the weather has really opened it right up. DJ, I want to come to you first on this. Anthony Van Dyke, Stradivarius did not do his form any time whatsoever yesterday, did he, from that Coronation Cup? And it's all about the ground with him, I guess.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I did Aidan's stable tour, and he said he's never going to run him on soft ground again after what happened last year at Ascot in the King George. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, whether he thinks the ground is dried out enough for him to run. He's one of these horses that he looked incredibly straightforward and a lovable type in everything he did before the Derby and in the Derby. And ever since then, he's looked really, really tricky, and he's looked like very hard to predict, and he's very in and out. So he's just not for me. He's just not the type of horse I like. And I just cannot understand for the life of me why Defoe, last year's winner, is such a big price and has been for the last couple of days. Like, he's coming into the race on the back of that run against Gaia. And the thing about it is it was a funny sort of race, because nobody knows what to do with Gaia. Because how do you actually pronounce that horse, by the way?
Gaieth, isn't it? Gaieth? However you want to pronounce it, man.
Yeah, right, we'll go with Gaieth, right? He didn't know what to do. Like, all the jockeys in that race were in an unusual situation where they were saying, well, we could be racing against a freak who likes to bowl along in front. Do we take him on? Do we not take him on? What do we do? And it was Andrea Atzeni who was trying to bring the pack to Gaia that day. So I'd forgive Defoe that run. And the key thing with Defoe, I think he hates fast ground. I think he despises it. I think he loves when it's good to soft, just on the softer side of good. It was a similar story in the race last year. He's won 3 times on soft ground, and you know, he's ran poorly before and came back, and Roger Varian's stable are in decent form. I'm not convinced it's that much better of a race than it was last year. He won it reasonably convincingly last year. I still think he's a good horse in this type of ground. So, yeah, Defoe at a really decent each-way price for me.
Pat Cooney, he's stank in the market in the Coronation Cup. Has he been solid here?
He's been popular at his price. I agree with DJ on this one. If he hadn't run at Newmarket, he would have been half the price for this race today, and we'd all be fancying him a lot more. And I'm just going to forget the form. As I say, Gaeth breaks the heart of most horses on a going day. If he hadn't run, you could fancy him for sure. And I look at the front 2 in the market. They're not bomb-proof by any means, are they? Anthony Van Dyke, OK, Derby winner, question mark the ground. Elicum, I suppose he'll win a Group 1 race at some point this year. But is he a 12-furlong horse? He's got to go up in trip, and he's got to do it on giving the ground. Mirando's 7. Do 7-year-olds win Group 2 races? And the more I was going down the list, I was thinking, well, what's wrong with Defoe at the price? I know he's a group horse, so I'm looking at Defoe. I think this is sort of race the bookmakers we feel we can get the front 2 turned over here.
I must admit, I think Defoe is a danger. I'm going to get in here.
He's a danger for sure, yeah.
LR Cam, for me, I'm afraid to say, I've very rarely been with this horse. But you just look at that Brigadier Gerard, Lord North. You look at his form with Japan in the International with Crystal Ocean last year. He's a proper 120, 125 horse, isn't he? I think he goes on the soft ground fine. The trip could be just what he wants. And I think if he goes out to about 5-2, 11-4, I mean, I've got to be with him today.
Look, it's late it's late to be trying 12 furlongs. If you were that convinced you'd be staying that far, then you'd have tried it a lot.
Don't put me off.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't see him staying really.
Okay.
Might get an easy lead though, so you never
Interesting.
know. But you know, I mean, Anthony Van Dyke. What is all this soft ground nonsense? Didn't he absolutely gag up in the Lingfield Derby trial when it was absolutely bottomless?
He did. I looked at that and I thought about it. It's a different level of form to what he's taken on here, I think.
Of course it is. Yeah. But what if he's just not an Ascot horse?
He stank in the market in the Coronation Cup as well, didn't he?
Yeah, but he stank at Ascot afterwards. What if He's just not an Ascot horse. Like, I'm not buying this soft ground business. The horse wins, okay, it's a different level altogether, but he gagged up in that race. There's not liking ground, there's handling ground. He handles it. Right? There's another reason. Ascot's track is funny. Obviously, it's a funny surface. Not all horses handle it. So, but we'll see. And you can go down, but like I said, Mirando's 7, but Defoe's 6. So where's your actual improver coming from? And I thought, given the ground, I'd take a chance on Hamish. I mean, he only made his debut in April last year. Was running to racing post ratings in the 70s or whatever on his first start, and he just kept on improving. Won big handicaps. He's from a good family, plenty of soft ground pedigree in him as well. And I just thought, he was a very strong traveller at 1 mile and 6 as well. So he will travel well.
Yeah, he will.
Well, whether he's got the class or not, I mean, I was talking. He was 14-1 yesterday, and he's half that now. Yeah. But that's the one I've backed. I probably said the value has dried up with him.
What an absorbing Hardwicke we've got in store. Time for the MyRacing.com double then. The boys have been having a pretty good week. They've had a few naps flying in. The double needs to land, and it's Lipizzaner in the Norfolk and Golden Horde, interesting horse, in the Commonwealth Cup, which we're about to preview. 3:35 then, Group 1 time again. Commonwealth Cup, Mr. Kealy. This has got a very open look about it all of a sudden. I think the ground's had something to do with it. Pierre Lapin is hopefully one of my poster boys of the season. He went in my 10 to follow, for example. Siskin's worked out so far. I must say, I've kind of got that sort of Siskin. Was he going to be a sprinter? Was he going to be a miler? Just class came to the fore. He won the Irish Guineas. I'm hoping the same happens again.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I mean, he was going to be one of my poster boys as well. It's just that his 2 runs last season came on fast ground, and he's returning against some horses that have had a race. And running on much softer ground, and we don't know about it. Now, there was one comment from trainer or jockey last year that said, "Well, I think the ground was fast enough for him there, so he might like it." But I mean, you like to see it proven, and he's been favourite for a fair while, while others have shown that they've trained on, etc. So for me, it was I'm going to try and find something else first time, and I latched onto the Wesley Ward thing, Kimari. Now she ran in the Queen Mary last year, and she did your typical Wesley Ward bang out. And she led everywhere but the line, and Raffle Prize came out and got her. Now, that was good form. Raffle Prize was a very good sprinter last year.
Liberty Beach was in the race.
Yeah, Liberty Beach was in the race, so it was a good race. Now, obviously, Raffle Prize, how they smashed her into her for the Guineas, I do not know, because she was never going to stay. But Kimari has come out, and she's been a different filly since. They've held her up. And she was on a sloppy track at Oaklawn when last seen just over a couple of months ago. And she powered through. She really stays this 6 furlongs as well. She really stays 6 furlongs strongly. And I think that she's going to be a massive player. And I would just say that look out for a horse running miles better than his odds suggest. Lay Hogue of George Baker's sprinter, been running over the wrong trip, absolutely tailed off in the Guineas, needs to do something a lot better. But is definitely a sprinter and just might run well at a huge price.
That wasn't on my radar. I do think Kamari's the danger. Dave Jennings, Commonwealth Cup.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout from Keels there. That horse was second, third line in France last year. But the one I like is Luke E. Fernandez from the Aidan O'Brien stable, the only O'Brien horse I fancy today. I just think we know now that he's trained on. And I thought it was blatantly obvious he didn't quite get home over a mile at the Irish 2000 Guineas last Friday night. He traded 1 to 2 and running. Swept by the field under Shamey Heffernan. The fact that Shamey rode him over the others told you that he'd been working well at home. Like, there's so many form lines that stand up here. Second in the Chesham Pinatubo. Again, when he just didn't quite see out the 7, I thought. He went back to 6 in a Group 3 at the Curragh and won. And to me, that form in the Guineas at the Curragh is probably the best line of form this season that we have to go on. Pierre Lapin could be anything, but I think Luke E. Fernandez is a sprinter all over. I think the ground will be fine. He's won on good to yielding. He should be fine on it. And I think he deserves to be favourite, and I think he'll win.
Very interesting indeed, and bullish from David Jennings. Pat, you get the feeling the market's going to be key on this race?
Yeah, very much so. I think with Lope, it's just amazing to me that on last Friday night I was watching him running the Irish 2000 Guineas, and 7 days later he turns up at Royal Ascot. So he must be a hardy old horse to have a race like that and travel over to Ascot. I'm not so sure on him. I'm not so sure on Pierre Lapin. I can imagine if you said to me you can own one of these horses and bring it home with you, I'd probably pick Pierre Lapin, but it's his first run of the season. we know all about his reputation and Roger Varian, so he's been priced defensively. I was just going down the list and I thought Royal Crusade, double figures, 10-1 at the moment, trained by Charlie Appleby. And what's not to love? He's got form on very soft ground, dropping down in trip, which Charlie Appleby seems quite confident about. I could see him running a big race at 10-1, but I say you look at Les Hogue, number 15, of George Baker, he's 100-1 and with first 4 places on it. So it's just that type of race. I think there's plenty with chances in this one, but my eye is drawn to Royal Crusade with Will Buick up.
Interesting. A sizzling Commonwealth Cup then. Will a new star be born? 4:10. In complete contrast, we've had speed. Nice race on the round course, back to speed. And now we go to the stayers. Future Gold Cup horses here?
Future Gold Cup, future ledger winners. I mean, Aidan O'Brien's had 2 St Ledger winners take this. We obviously had Stradivarius for John Gosden as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
of course.
We're going to get some, and it looks reasonably strong race as well. I mean, it's very hard to tell on paper because a lot of them haven't shown that much. But obviously, Berkshire Rocco was second to what is one of the Derby favourites in the Lingfield Derby trial. And
English King, yeah.
If English King hadn't run that race, Berkshire Rocco would probably be 6 or 7-1 for the Derby because he'd won a trial by 7 lengths. You know what I mean? It's funny, take one horse out of the race and see it. Yeah. He's obviously not that sort of horse and the others weren't that good, but he brings a reasonable level of form to the race. Born with Pride has been the money horse since the rain came. She obviously won on her debut on soft ground. Didn't really show very much behind Berlin Tango at Kempton, did she? So
Strange run.
There's an incredible amount of confidence behind her. She does look all over a stayer, but I was quite keen on Santiago. I think of Aidan O'Brien's. He's got such a good record in this race. I mean, he knows. They know their stayers. Like that, he won 4 of the last 6, hasn't he? And he's one of some very, very good horses. So with Ryan Moore on, I thought, I think 4-1's reasonable. It's not really
Russian Emperor would be giving you confidence on that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I like Berkshire Rocco, I've got to say. I had him in the Zetland last year, 2-year-old race over mile 2 at Newmarket on bad ground. I wrote that he was a stayer in the making. I really, really liked his run at Lingfield. Of course, they won it last year with Dashing Willoughby, the Balding team. DJ, Queen's Vase.
I'm with Kealy, Santiago all the way. I think Santiago will go off favours. With Born with Pride, she's probably priced up on her debut run when she beat Peaceful, who won the Irish 1,000 guineas. But the thing there was that Aidan O'Brien has said time and time again that Peaceful absolutely despised the ground and he can't believe he got so close to winning that race. So I would just take that form with a little bit of pinch of salt. And the run of Kempton didn't really scream to me that she was a star, for all that it was our wrong terms and conditions. With Santiago, he's won on soft ground at Listowel. And when any horse can win on soft ground at Listowel, you can win on soft ground anywhere. So if it does get really soft again with the showers at Ascot, he's the one that's going to absolutely love it. His form just stacks up everywhere. Like, you can forget Sunchart's running the Derrenstown Derby trial. The ground was too quick there. He's still a good horse for Andy Slattery. Second to Alpine Star at Galway. Alpine Star is a star for Jessica Harrington. And the form of the Leopardstown Maiden win, or Leopardstown Maiden second, is decent as well. Everything just stacks up here with Santiago, and he should be favoured.
Expecting Santiago to burn then 2 firm ticks. Pat Cooney, is this a vulnerable favourite we're looking at then?
You'd have to say so, Dave, wouldn't you? I mean, any horse that's favourite for a group race at Royal Ascot that was 7th last time out. We're not talking 7th in the Guineas or anything. We're talking a pretty moderate 7th and 9th on the all-weather. So she comes here with that question mark in her, but she has a huge reputation. I mean, she, as DJ said, she beat the Irish Guineas winner Peaceful on her only run at Newmarket. That was on heavy. She was in front a mile out that day. So clearly connections think the ground will suit, the step up in trip will suit. I just find it hard to, if you're only as good as your last race, then Born with Pride has got work to do here. But I get the confidence behind her. But I'm a little bit like the fellas. You look at Santiago, you can imagine he's got that stamina all over. He goes on the ground and he's going to be a decent stayer. Lobbing Berkshire Rocco. You have to look at Born with Pride. You said to me you can take one of these favourites on all day today at its price. I'd take this one on at 5-2. But I respect the connections for sure. But I'd rather be a backer of Santiago at 4 than her at 5-2.
Expect the market to flip-flop then. That's the Queen Vase. Right then, bringing the curtain down on the penultimate day of Royal Ascot is the Duke of Edinburgh handicap, the older horse over a mile 4. Wide open market. Durston, David Simcock, all of his horses have been looking like they just need the run.
Absolutely, massively need the run.
And this is a proper play. I mean, there are reasons for that on there, which we won't go into. But listen, if this goes and wins, first time out in handicap of this nature, and it has been really well backed, hasn't it? Yeah. People like Spencer saying it's been working the house down or whatever. Yeah. We're looking at a group horse, really, aren't we?
You are, yeah, but he's got a lot against him. He's got an awful lot, not just the absence, but I mean, when you look at this market, right? One thing about Royal Ascot, or Ascot in general, 1.5 mile races, you know, time and time again, a low draw has proved an absolute disaster. Right? Very few horses went from a very low draw over 1.5 miles in a big field at Ascot. Right? We've got Durston backed into favouritism, drawn 4. We've got West End Charm, second favourite, drawn 3.
Yeah.
We've got fourth favourite, Deja, drawn 2. You know, in between those is Good Birthday, who ran at the meeting last year and was tailed off.
He's a Marmite horse for me now.
Well, the only bad run he had last year as well. So it always worries me when a horse comes to Ascot and runs badly. So I thought to myself, well, you've got to start looking further out. And I dropped in on Indianapolis. He's drawn 19. He's got an outside draw. He's trained by James Given. He ran a reasonable race off a very slow pace, which wouldn't have suited him last time. He finished 4th in the Old Newton Cup on fast ground last year. He ran in the Shergar Cup, powered down the outside, won at the Shergar Cup meeting. I'd imagine the way he handled the track there and the way he won there, they were thinking, right, we're going to go for this handicap next year. This would have been the plan. He's had the run. He's lucked out with a draw. He's got to go well. He was a big price yesterday. He's still a double figure price now. I think he's still the runner back.
We all thought we found one, didn't we?
Yeah, I thought nobody else will have this, and then everybody. I couldn't believe the number of people who tipped it. Like, you know, I suppose when it comes to certain tipsters, you all have similar methods, don't you? Like, you know, we all know that the draw is bad. Even if your average punter in the street just sees top trainer, top jockey, bang, bang, bang. Like, you know what I mean? We all know. So we're all looking for the same thing, and we've all landed on this one.
We know a lot about Indianapolis now, and James Gibbons has 5 runners since resumption. 2 have won as well, so the yard's going really, really well. DJ, were you looking at one of the market leaders, or?
Yeah, I don't give a crap about the draw. Thurston is going to win this. This is every the draw. Like, it's hard to believe we're saying it like that. He's drawn his 4 and it's a disaster. Like, maybe it will be disaster, and you'll say to me after the race, sure, that's ridiculous. You can't win from that draw. But like, just everything about this horse screams that he's by far the best horse in the race. Now, on the Simcock thing, okay, I fancied Almania the other day, and I thought he ran really well up to his best form. I thought Mohican Height probably ran his race and up to his best form. Simcock is 0 from 20 in the last fortnight. 10 of those horses have been 20 to 1 or bigger. Okay, he's had I think 5 or 6 placed horses. So I think this thing has grown legs. I think there's obviously different rumours about the stable and all that kind of thing. This thing has grown legs. I actually don't think they're running that bad. They're running marginally worse than they should be running, but not that much. This horse got so much in hand. Like that third behind Technician and Mirando at Newbury over a trip that was probably just a little bit too far. He traded 1-2 in running, looked all over a winner, and against 2 thorough stayers who are, one is a definite Group 1 horse and the other is Virgin and Group 1 horse, and he had them murdered 2 furlongs out. The run behind Sir Ron Presley was a cracking run at Goodwood. He won before that at Chester when, as Pat will tell you, he barged through a gap under Nicola Curry. He handles the ground. He's well handicapped. He's a good horse, and he's the best horse in this race, and he is by far my strongest fancy on Friday.
Oh, lovely. You thought it wasn't going to happen, didn't you? But we've waited to the last race, and finally a heated debate. Pat Cooney, are you going to add some fire?
Well, I'm going to link arms with DJ on this one. I am a Durston fan all over. I was at Chester the day he won with Nicola Curry aboard, and he was all dressed up, nowhere to go, but he was brave as you like, went through the gap. That was on soft ground that day. I will admit, that was off of 82. He's off of 100 this time around, but he ran ever so well at Goodwood. These Goodwood 1.5 mile handicaps are always good currency. He ran a cracker that day. He ran well against Technician. You know, you're talking Sir Ron Priestley Technicians. You're almost St. Ledger Group 1 class. He's off of 100. He's been gelded since he ran last time out. I don't know why he deserved to be gelded. That might be a harsh decision, but I would imagine he's been a better horse this year. The vibes are very good. He's solid in the market. I can see him winning this one and progressing on to much bigger and better things.
You had to wait for the last, but the team, it's a 2-way split in the finale. Nap time then. I'm going to take the floor first. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's LR Cam all the way in the Hardwicke for me. I just think that Lord North form will sizzle. Paul Kealy.
I think you're bonkers, Orton, myself, but there you go.
Not the first time, old boy.
I'm going to get the Nap out of the way. Hopefully it will run a lot better than yesterday's Nap Acquitted, who was 99 lengths behind the winner.
I was on Foxtel, so don't go there.
It will be Keep Busy in the 1:15.
Lovely. DJ.
We're going to top and tail the Carol Keels Durston without any shadow of a doubt. 440 at Ascot in the Duke of Edinburgh Stakes. Sorry, Pat Cooney, I know I got in there ahead of you, but I just had to do it.
Oh, Pat, so if it was Durston, do you have an alternative?
I'll stick at Durston. I think of all the 7 favourites at Royal Ascot today, he appeals to me at his price more than the other 6 favourites. So Team Durston for us.
We know you love lumping on the naps. You've got to wait for the finale. All right, then, that's it then for day 4, the penultimate day, getting towards the business end now of Royal Ascot. But the last 2 days, quality-wise, looks absolutely fantastic. Myself, David Orton, signing off. Paul Kealy, you're back in the game, full of love for the game. It's all going to go well again today.
Absolutely. Another 7 races. Let's hope we get 2 or 3 more.
DJ, all about Durston for you then, and a Santiago Sizzler.
Yeah, all about Durston. We'll have to wait till 20 to 5 to find out, but I think I know the answer already.
Pat Cooney, enjoy the day. You're back tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. Looking forward to it, Dave.
We'll see you for the final day then. But in the meantime, do not forget that members plug. It's 3 months for a tenner. Promo code racing is back. Hashtag what a shout. Get your questions in for all the panelists. They do read them. Whatever feedback, you'll get your answers. And of course, don't forget to download the free Racing Post app on the Google Store. It's all free. Remember, 2 days left. Gamble responsibly. We'll see you then.